Right, today I'm gonna show you the 3-step plan that made me crave studying art even if I'm a lazy artist. I went from this to this in only 3 days, so I think this works pretty well. This got me genuinely so hooked, and the reasons are rooted deep inside our brain. I studied how to trick it into getting addicted to the process, to the reward, and to the study itself. It all comes down to the 3 steps that, if followed in order, are gonna make you finally get rid of the bad habits that is keeping you away from drawing. I'm gonna show you how to make it addictive, how to make sure that you complete it all, and in the end I'm gonna show you how I do the studies, and I'm gonna share with you a couple of tips that are gonna make you finish the study full of motivation. So stick around till the end to make sure to have all the tools you need to complete the plan. By the way, I'm Matt. I drew a whole 80 pages full illustrated fantasy artwork in only 3 months, and this study plan is what made it so much easier. Also, the pre-sale of my course is finally out, but more on that later. So the concept of this plan is based on gamification. I like it so much because it basically makes your life a video game. This is the boring definition of gamification. It's the application of typical elements of game playing, like point scoring, competition with others, to other areas of your life. It's basically doing typically boring stuff like studying or working out in a fun way that rewards progress. So in this plan we're gonna create, just like in video games, a character to play the adventure with, as well as his skill tree but for drawing. We'll get him to defeat enemies, go through various challenges, and defeat a boss in the end. Of course, all of his progress will translate into art progress for you. Let's now get all of this gamification stuff and translate it into art. Now, of course, like any video games, we have to make a character to play with. Of course, if you want to learn landscapes or vehicles, you can change what you're drawing right now. So if you want to learn landscapes, just draw the landscape or the environment where the adventure is going to take place in. Or if you want to draw vehicles and get better at that, you can draw the vehicle that the character is using. Now, this step is fun because it's the step where you can see how you're doing before the challenge or the study plan begins. And you can draw it after as a boss battle to see how you did and how you got better. Also, we can create some story for the character to make it even more fun. For example, here, this character, I'm making it as an adventurer that is gonna go in an adventure to actually get a weapon to make him stronger or some shit like that. It doesn't have to be really accurate, it just has to make you wanna continue, right? So something that makes you hooked, something that you're passionate about, and that makes you wanna continue the study. By the way, good job if you're still here. This means that you're really serious about your art and you have my respect. Now, if you're liking the exercises that I'm showing you right now and my approach to art, to draw having fun and avoid the bad habits and replace them with drawing, my program From Stuck to Creative Machine is definitely for you, bro. It's gonna get you unstuck from the state of procrastination and comfort zone that you're in, and with some mind tricks, practical exercises and practical advice is definitely gonna get you unstuck and finally be able to work on a project that you had for your mind for so long. Now, it's on pre-sale, so I'm working on it, but if you get it right now, you're gonna get it for more than 50% off, and the price is gonna increase once it comes out. So it's the first link in the description. Go check it out right now, you won't regret it. Now, your character is useless like this. We have to make his skill tree. Perfect. Now we're on this free app called Miro. Now I'm using a random one, you can literally do it on paper too. We're here to do the character skill tree. This is useful to know our weak points after we did the character drawing and know where we have to stress and the skills that we have to study more than others. It's gonna be our character skill tree, or even better, skill set. Perfect. Now we can finally write all the skills that we want to get better at. So for the purpose of this video, I'm not gonna write too many, but after the character drawing, I can say that the pose that we did was kind of stiff. So I'll definitely write poses right here. So this is the first skill. Let's change the color. Then we have, I would say, anatomy. Now this is really broad as a concept, anatomy of course, but we're gonna get into it later. So just write the main thing that comes to your mind, anatomy right here. And then I would write a little bit of character design. I'm putting this in order of what I want to get better at the most and the least. So those are the 3 skills that we want to get better at right now. Of course, there is many more, but we can leave that from other sessions. And now that we got the skills, we can assign levels to them. So just like in video games, you got the skill poses. How do you get better at poses? So we have to work on that. Then we can do some form study to get our shapes and basic forms down. Of course, you can write the skills that you want to get better at, and you can either find some online exercises that are gonna make you better at this skill, or you can do some that you already know. And if you want, you can even put some levels, like level 0. Of course, with level 100 poses, I don't mean that you're gonna become the poses god. I'm just gonna say that for the purpose of the study, you're gonna get 100% of the results by doing these exercises. Now after we've done the character skill tree, skill set, we can finally move to the next step. Congratulations, now you did the character skill tree, and now you're never gonna start. You're gonna get demotivated and just quit this gamification stuff. Lucky enough, I know how to prevent this. Instead of just promising yourself that you'll do it, hold yourself accountable and start scheduling the next 3 days or more, knowing what to do every day of the study plan. Here's how I do it. Now, this is where I schedule all my drawing practice. It's Google Calendar, but you can do it on paper, you can do it on another app. So what I would do is, first of all, know where I'm gonna be busy with other stuff that is not drawing. Now, let's pretend that I have lessons on these 3 days that I plan to study in. Now, this is completely random. It's just to show you how I would do it in the gym in those times. And I know when I am busy. And, of course, I know when I'm not busy, when I'm free. So I know when I can study, right? So what I would do is get my character skill set right here. Know the stress that I want to put in any skill right here and translate it into the calendar. So I know I have to do gesture drawing, form study, and character in the first day. So the first day is kind of busy, so let's say I wake up at 7 and at 8 I have 1 hour to do gesture. Then I have characters and studying form. Now characters are a little easier, so I would put it in here that I have not so much time. And here I have more time, so let's say that I'm studying forms. You may get where I'm going with this. I basically fill the empty spaces. Now, as I said, I'm making this up right now. You can optimize it better. Now this is kind of random right here, but you have to find the free spots in your day and put the studies inside of it. Studied something like 3 to 4 hours a day. Sometimes less, sometimes more. For example, the poses day I really studied a lot of time, and the character design I just experimented a little bit. Even with this plan, studying art is hard. I just know it. But I really want you to get better with me and get the most out of this plan. So while I show you the 3 days of studies that I did, I'm gonna share with you a couple of tips and tricks that are gonna make you go through the whole challenge without giving up, feeling motivated and loving the study that you're doing. Now, the moment that we've all been waiting for. Let's put this into practice. Now, as I said, I'm starting with poses. So the first exercise that I'm doing is gesture drawing. So I'm drawing a couple of poses, 30 to be exact, all in 1 minute each. And this makes my hand loosened up and warmed up to start the actual study, and also gets my brain into the mindset that I'm starting to study poses. Now, the second step that I always tell everybody to do is to go more in detail. Now, what I'm doing is getting a reference picture and kind of tracing the basic shapes with red, and then I try to draw it again without watching the tracing that I did before. And this helps my brain to create a visual library, and I also get used to draw the poses that I'm doing that are kind of extreme. For example, this one right here is has a big perspective. Now, this one is really important because I'm drawing a pose that is a normal pose, and I'm making a character of the story out of it. So here I'm drawing the villagers of the village where the character comes from. So here is a fighter, the one before was a blacksmith, right here I have a fisherman. So I'm making the normal poses become some character, and this makes me motivated as I'm drawing stuff that I actually like. Now, this next exercise is one of the most difficult one, but it's really helpful to get your brain to understand how poses really work, because I'm taking difficult poses like this one that is really dynamic, and I'm drawing it from another angle, so with a bigger perspective. For example, right here, I'm drawing this girl with a bat as I'm watching it from above instead of from the front, like the real references. This next phase is the fun one, because I'm drawing the character in the scene, so I'm doing him in a saloon fighting against another villager from the village where he's from. And you can draw little scenes from your adventure as a way to make you motivated to continue. Into the next step, I'm studying anatomy, and as you can see, I'm doing the same thing. I'm tracing the references and then drawing my own thing. Now here, you really have to challenge yourself. You have to make it hard. If you make it too hard, you're not gonna continue because it's too hard. And if you make it too easy, it's not gonna be challenging enough. So what you have to do is to find a balance between hard and easy, and you can find the flow state that has a good amount of reward and a good amount of challenge. Now I'm moving to legs, something that really challenges me, and as I'm not really good at it, I'm gonna have newbie gains, and this is gonna make me so much more motivated. So study stuff that you don't know, you're gonna have faster improvement than studying something that you already know, and it's gonna make you so much more motivated to continue. Now I'm drawing this last scene. Is the character fighting against a monster, and the monster has the weapon that he was looking for, and this was good because it helped me practice both legs and anatomy as well as poses, as I'm doing a dynamic pose in a 3D space with the character in it. Now the last phase is kind of the boss battle, and it's putting everything that you've learned together. Now I'm drawing the character that I've drawn at the beginning with a more exaggerated pose, more difficult perspective, and I'm using all the anatomy knowledge that I've just learned. So here you can see the torso is much more defined, the pose communicates the intention of the character so much more, and I also used some hatching in the end to enhance the anatomy that I learned. So I think that overall it's so much better than the first one that I did, and this one was all made in just 3 days, and I really suggest you to apply all the tips that I just gave you to get the same results that I got, or even better. It's gonna be so much more fun for you to draw. There is no way you're gonna get bored as if you just drew the random anatomy study, and you're also gonna get the benefits of an actual study. And if you slowly increment this and stop the bad habits, for example, you stop playing video games slowly and start drawing slowly with this method that I just showed you, you're gonna replace most of your bad habits time with drawing time, and you're gonna see that in 1 year, the version of you that chose to do this plan is gonna get so much better than the version of you who just stuck to random studies and preferred playing video games instead. Yeah, maybe you complete the video game, but that doesn't bring you nowhere, just gives you some enjoyment at the moment. Now, if you want to know more exercises to produce some better art and finally be unstuck from this state of procrastination that you're in, I suggest you again to go check out my course. It's on pre-sale right now. First link in the description, you won't regret it. If you are really lazy and really are a procrastinator, I suggest you go watch this video to beat procrastination once and for all. If you're serious about your art, start following me and see you in the next one.